You just never know when I'm a little nervous, but when you ask me to do this, I called Ron up Tuesday or Wednesday or something, and just was talking to him about life, and he said, "Why don't you share that on Sunday?" Which tells me one, he didn't have anybody else for Sunday morning, and he said, "Just take 10 minutes to share." Huh? God had somebody. He said, "So God's got a lot of people sitting out there that ought to be up here also." So I was thinking testimony, and I looked it up online, and it says it's a witness, and like in a court of law, when you get up and you testify. And I thought about it, and I thought I love the big things that's gone on in my life with God. I like the mountaintop experiences, but truth is, I live in just the mundane, the day-to-day stuff, and I love the little things. I was supposed to look this up before I got here, so this is going to be out of line a little bit. But I think Kim put this online, and it says A.W. Tozer, great writer, great man of God, and he said, "I rarely know where I'm going in my life's journey, but I look back and see that God has been leading my every step, and I did not even know it." And that's kind of my life. I always say I can see God better in the rearview mirror than in the windshield. and one thing Greta and I have always tried to be is we just try to be real. So you go to a lot of people's houses. I've been growing up and you go to a lot of people's houses, they clean that baby up like they never lived so people can see how they don't live. And then and then when people leave, they say, "Why don't we live like that?" Well, because they don't either. So you come to our house, and it's kind of what you see is what you get. And we're just pack rats, and we're involved in a lot of stuff. So there's a lot of junk sitting around, and that's just the way it is. Clean off a chair and sit down if you want. Ravi Zacharias, I don't know how many of you know him, but he's a Christian apologist. It means he defends the faith in some real hard times. And he told this story. He likes to tell stories, and he's a lot better than I am. But there was this guy that ran. He was a track star, and he was Olympic quality. And he said that there's one guy that he could never beat. So it was before technology, I assumed. And he had a video of the other guy running. He had a video of his. So he ran it frame by frame to see where they were. And I think it was 100-yard, 100-meter, whatever. And he'd see where the other guy was gaining on him. And then he'd figure out a way to beat the guy. So he's at the Olympics. He's running for the gold. On your mark, he gets down, gets set, he's ready. And just like this, he said, the thought came to him. He said, "I wonder if my dad's watching." Gun goes bang. He's late getting out. Didn't win. Didn't take the gold because of that thought. So I grew up. Well, some people say I just got old, but maybe both. But I always figured my childhood was normal. I figured it was average. I figured it's what everybody else went through. And then about 20 years ago, so in our mid-30s, a little over 20 years, we went to work for a place in Nebraska called Grace Children's Home. It's a place where kids that were removed by the house, by the court, were sent to hopefully teach them a better way of life and break some chains. And it was a Christian place. It was a good place. Great people working there. But we'd been there 4 or 5 months, and the director looked at me and he said, "Jerry, I usually know when to ask the staff, have they wrote that letter?" And I said, "What letter?" And he said, "Well, the letter thanking their parents for the upbringing they had." And I thought I was normal before I went there. And then I realized I didn't have a normal childhood, and it wasn't because it was good. So then we took life skills, Greta and I, when it was here, when Vera was running that, and it helped with the healing. And it helped me see what a better life would be. And then the ball, proverbial. We use that word proverbial. And I looked it up because I've always used it. And it means, I might be out of line. Proverbial, it means having to do with a proverb. It means relating to a proverb. And the example I gave was I'm going to stick out I stick out like a sore thumb. So I thought, how do you stick out like a sore thumb in this church? So I thought, well, you could wear a suit. And I thought, well, I don't have one. I'm not about to get one. So this is as close as I could come. But the ball, I can't be near a swimming pool. I love swimming pools with a ball. And I don't know how many you do it, but you stick it in the water and you try to stand on that thing. And I call it the proverbial ball. Because of all the times I've done that, probably 1,000 times, that ball's always come up. Whether I let it come up, whether I just let it up real slowly and grab it, there's not a swimming pool around that's got a ball on the bottom that I put there. Because that ball always comes up. and it seems like this always comes up. My childhood. Somehow that thing comes back up, no matter how much I push it down, no matter how much the Lord works with me on it, somehow it comes back up. And this children's home we went to, we had some horrible stories there. 6-year-old boy, his dad killed a guy in his kitchen with a knife. I don't know what that looks like, but it can't be good. Turns around, looks at the little boy that was there, and he says, if you tell anybody, I'll do the same thing to you. That's got to leave a mark. And then the kid had to testify in court, put his dad in jail. Kid was a mess. And they'd be there, and they'd start talking about their parents' horrible stuff. A lot of times we heard it from the social workers or from staff. And the Bible says, honor your father and mother. So how do you do that? How do you tell a kid like that to honor his dad? And yet I know if he's going to get free from that, he's got to do that. So I asked a lot of people I knew, good people, good people, good Christians. How do you do that? Nobody could give me an answer. So it's like we're telling all these people to do something and not giving them a clue how to do it. It's crazy. So that's kind of where my life is. I've always heard people say that, and I've never heard anybody tell me how to do it. And I should have brought a book. About 2 or 3 years ago, I heard a lady on the radio talking, and she was talking about her life and what she'd gone through. She's an author, and she got with a counselor, a psychiatrist, or some mental health profession. And they wrote a book on it. So I ordered the book, and I read it, and it was easy to read because I wasn't applying it. I was just reading it like a good novel. And it was good, and I don't remember what it said. So a while back, I thought, I need to read that again. And I started to read it, and this time it was a little harder because this time I was applying it a little more. And I don't know where this journey is going to take me. I don't know where I'm going. I know it's going to have some painful times in it. And I know it's going to be good when I'm done. And I know that's what God's doing in my life now. And I know rereading it's been harder and it's been better this time. And so I don't know how to stop, so I need to stop sometime. So anyway, that's just where the Lord's bringing me in my life right now at this time. And, I'd encourage you, if you're going through that same journey I'm going through at this time, look me up. We can share stories. We can help each other through it. Thanks.